So we've all been in this situation before. You're in a band, you're about to record your album, you ask around local producers and engineers what their rates are, only to find out that it's a lot more expensive than you thought. Or there's this situation where you've already recorded your album, you're very stoked on it, and you show a few friends and you're like, this is really cool, when are you gonna record the finals? And you're like, this is the final. So today I'm going to teach you how to record professional quality modern metal guitars from home using the gear that you already own. For a living, I've been engineering, producing, and mixing artists for the past 12 or so years, and I've learned a lot of things along the way. Today I'm going to be showing you some of the tips and techniques that I've learned that make tracking not only easier, but sound better. So not only will you feel confident knowing that you have a professional sounding recording, but you'll also feel accomplished knowing that you did it yourself. And now you have a new skill set, so if you wanted to, you could actually start tracking bands for a living. So with all that being said, let's get started. Change strings. When you're tuning, you want to make sure that when you first hit the note is when it's in tune. Within half of a second, it's gone from like a G to a G flat. So another important thing is to make sure that your strings are thick enough. I just want to make sure that the tension's good enough that it'll stay in tune and that it'll sound heavy. Otherwise, it'll sound like those floppy 8 strings. I'd rather it sound like a heavier 7 string. You'll notice that when you're chugging, there'll be like a ding. That's your truss rod in the guitar. I'm just gonna take an elastic and put this foam here. It makes the chugs a bit tighter and you don't get that annoying ringing sound. Just make sure that's not cutting off the actual frets. Another important thing, you're gonna basically block all the strings that you're not playing because they tend to ring out. So the riff that we're gonna record in today's episode is the opening riff of the song that I made last week. This is like a huge chunk that will become like 4 different parts. Even within the first Notey section, we'll probably just record that and then we'll get the next part in a different take. So first, make sure all these notes are in tune. So I'm gonna record all of that in one. And luckily, since I have this here, it's blocking the high strings from ringing out while I'm playing. If I do 2 that are good, I'll do an additional at least 1 or 2 that are decent. I actually liked number 2 and number 4 together. And then I just used the tail end of number 5 for the chugs, because it just sounded better. If I have to, I'll just do by itself, and then I'll do check the tuning again. It is annoying and tedious, but it's important because when you go to record bass, you're going to be so happy that you check the tuning on it. And do as many takes as you need to. And then you go crazy recording because you have to hear loops like this. If I wanted to, I could find, say, this note and move it to the 1 of the beat. And that's tighter. So I'm gonna redo these chugs because they don't sound very good. Again, it's gotta be in tune for the initial hit because when you're doing chugs, it lasts for 1/8 of a second. So don't be the guy to do this. And I'm just gonna record this little thing here. And make sure you listen because I could have been happy with this. I'll try a different take. And it just sounds cleaner. Part 1 complete. I'll check the tuning on open. I won't be like, that's not in tune. So luckily with Ableton, I can right click the track and then go to show take lanes. And it'll show you every take that you've done on that record track. So on this part, I'm going to record everything but the bend. Bends are the most annoying thing to record because if they're out of tune, they sound wrong. Now, I've spent nearly an hour on 1 note. When you're doing those long ones and you're trying to get 4 takes right now, we're just doing it left and then right. Sometimes I'll quad and then it just fills the wall of sound that we're used to with modern metal. I decided to do the chugs separate. Sometimes when you're focusing on a few too many things, everything goes loose. Take it in small parts. So now, so I may actually end up doing even just that last note separately. Sometimes it's just string noise. So I'm just gonna make sure I have a clean one of this. You will hate the sound of guitar after recording. Cool, I like those. Just gonna do the open note on its own now because I want it to sound good. I do multiple takes because even an open string, it sounds different every time you hit it. And that's really where you hear the difference when you're looping it like that. And that one sounds tighter. And now that bend. Now that I only really need the top string, I'm going to block everything with the top two, just because sometimes if you block the second from the top, when you bend down, you hit this. And then it mutes the string, and nobody wants that. So let's tune to the note. The thicker strings tend to go out of tune quicker than the high ones, so I usually tune the high ones first. Tuning to that fret 3. Now we lose our mind. I loop this. They're not ideal, so I'll go through the options. The guitar on the right on this one, there's a little bit of rubbing. It's not exactly coming down at the same time, whereas this one, they almost sound like they're the same take. So I'm going to use those two. I overhung a little bit long. Try to play it as long as it would be if you were playing. Since the chord is 1, 0, 0, it's always good to tune to fret 1, fret 0, 0. That sounds best. Last part of this A section. If you need to do a lot, you do a lot. I did a lot because I needed to do a lot. I'm going for the perfect guitar sound. I don't even care that the guitars look like this. They look worse sometimes. Recording something that's fast, distorted, you need it to be as tight as you possibly can get it. If something's the exact same, I'll copy the left side and move it to the right side, and then I'll copy the right side and move it to the left. Since they're switched, it gives the illusion that it's a new performance. And then this is where it gets different. Like that. Can't have an ego. So this is slightly different. You just choose whatever one you like. Sounds heavy in tune and deep. Not like that. Now that we've got that whole part tracked, let's listen back to it. I made sure visually that it's on grid. Not exactly to the grid, but tight. Sounds much better than before. This is the rough take. It doesn't sound terrible. I can just hear a lot of loose notes all over the place. So that's how I go about recording guitars. It is annoying and it is a little bit tedious, but it'll make sure that when you're tracking bass, when you're adding synth layers, and if your band has clean vocals, it'll make sure that everything is properly in tune, everything sounds good in time, and it leaves the least room for error. I've since re-recorded all the guitars and finished the song, so if you want to hear the whole thing, I've left a link in the description to my BeatStars account. You can check it out. So thank you all for watching today's video. If you found use in it or if you found value in it, please like it. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe, as I'll be posting weekly. And I do read all the comments, so if you have anything that you'd like me to go over or any subject that you'd like me to cover, please let me know down below and I'll be sure to do it in a timely manner. Who talks like that? Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye.